This is Almighty Oracle once again at Gotham Central Comics and Collectibles here in the northwest end of Mississauga. Let's look at what's coming out today. DC Rebirth, continuing their trades, hardcover and soft. Definitely the first volume of Wonder Woman Rebirth, featuring the Lies story arc and the crossover between Batman, Nightwing, and Detective Comics, Night of the Monster Men hardcover format. Marvel is definitely no slouch in this department, and for their top two characters, for the die-hard fans, a compilation of their greatest slash fests, I would say, featuring very hard to find early issues of the two combating, much more affordable than trying to find in the back issue bins. As usual, a slew of number ones, and this week for Marvel, the biggest release is the assassin Elektra. As you can see here on the main cover, her costume reflects that of the Daredevil Netflix series, hence now in the Marvel reality, you'll see it as is. Up top, you see in the banner, running with the devil. This is just to connect it to The Man Without Fear, and the ancillary titles, Bullseye and Kingpin as well. We have the regular cover, we have a connecting variant by Marco Cicchetto, Scotty Young, who is always fun to look at and very popular among collectors, and lastly we have the hip-hop cover by Karen Grant. Super hot book. 2 weeks after the Zero issue, finally, the ongoing Steve Orlando, Ivan Reis, Joe Prado, Batman, Lobo, etc. Oh, too much to mention in terms of the high points. Either way, it's already listed as an extremely hot book. Once again, we have the main cover. We have the variant by Marcelo Maiolo. Can't go wrong with one of these, especially when you attend a convention like next month's Toronto Comic-Con. Get whoever you want to draw whatever you want on something like this. And the beauty is you can either do it front and or back. And finally, this is pretty neat. It didn't catch my eye when I was looking through the shelves. Semi-colored main cover from Coast to Coast Comic-Con. Brand new. Let's hope this sticks, because every time there's some relaunches, it's somewhat annoying to not only purchase the book, but also to gather that fandom, that admiration, and then have it cut short afterwards. Bear with me as I go through a stack of number ones. This is a weekly thing. It's no surprise. All the major companies out there will release something. The smaller ones too. It's great to spotlight them all. First off, from Udon Entertainment, Street Fighter vs. Darkstalkers video game franchise. Dark Horse has The Visitor, How He Stayed, from Mike Mignola, creator of Hellboy. Dark Horse is a little more selective in what they release. It's not as extravagant or numerous like the other companies, but sometimes that's a good thing because you get a little more quality out of that. Action Lab / Danger Zone imprint, a one-shot featuring the new character Vamp Blade, supposedly set in the year 1998. Other covers follow, but they are NSFW, so you're gonna have to try and find them. Aftershock has a continuation of Rough Riders, this time called Riders on the Storm, where President Theodore Roosevelt and his cronies / miscreants carry out justice in the late 19th century. Some better known names: Annie Oakley, Harry Houdini, Nikola Tesla. Black Mask Comics, brand new title, aiming at a younger demographic. It's kind of a mouthful, but it's intriguing. Quantum Teens Are Go. That alone makes me think of Teen Titans Go, but definitely no correlation. Space Goat Publishing has the Evil Dead franchise, a one-shot here, as you can see, featuring Ash from the movie series, and Evil Ed, his doppelganger. Joe Books has a take on the Disney Pixar franchise. Alphabetically on the list, you would have to go by D, but as you can see here, featuring Lightning McQueen and others from the movie Cars. IDW also has quite a few offerings this week. Another mini-series featuring Angry Birds. We have Darkness Visible with 2 covers, whoever's into the horror. From the movie, which spun off into a TV series, and the tagline, "There can only be one," the immortal Highlander. And lastly, from this Starstruck, at first I thought it said "Old Soldiers Never Die," but it's "Old Prolders." Must be some kind of alien thing with a militaristic slant to it. American Mythology Productions, a new company as of 2015, has some out here. Bedtime Stories for Impressionable Children, yet another horror-themed book. Crypt of Screams from Mike Wolfer, who has his own small press company, Mike Wolfer Entertainment, harkening back to the late 60s, mid 70s. And the Pink Panther, a one-shot, snow day, up to his usual antics, trying to escape the inspector. 3 covers for your perusal. Archaea, which is now a subsidiary of Boom, has Jim Henson's The Power of the Dark Crystals. I have to admit, I misread it. I thought it was The Tower of the Dark Crystals. But you have 2 gorgeous covers here following that movie as from the Muppeteer himself. And Image has 3 offerings this week. One is a one-shot, The Belfry, by Gabriel Hardman, writer and artist. This is, again, horror-themed. Definitely new content in an ever-going monthly offering. The Old Guard. And finally, a major hot indie book that has now been acquired by them, Sun Bakery. Interesting reads for the week. First, Rothic, self-publishing company with gorgeous covers as well as interior artwork. The 3 titles this week are Ancient Dreams, Southern Nightgown, and Theory of Magic. DC, I will feature this one, League of Shadows Part 1 in Detective Comics. And as you can see here on the main cover, Lady Shiva in the mix, and she's hunting Cassandra Cain. As usual with their titles, there's always 2. You can pick whichever you like. Extremely biased, I'm featuring Wonder Woman because, again, a brand new arc, the opposite of the very first one, The Truth. Plus, Cheetah looks outstanding here on the main cover by Liam Sharp, and the variant by Jenny Frisson. And finally, kids of all ages can appreciate this. Hanna-Barbera's Scooby-Doo team-up featuring way back, playback, Quick Draw McGraw and his sidekick El Kabong. As you can see up here, 2 decades ago, this title shocked the world, especially with the last page reveal, and I was definitely a hardcore fan, having bought the entire series, even when it slumped. But the newest incarnation does feature both teams, spotlighting that anniversary. But the variant is definitely one I recall, this character here, Jolt, and the same artist who had started on the title, Mark Bagley. But I think over the years, meh. And not publishing mistake, but Clone Conspiracy number 5 finished last week, and now the follow-up to this. The title is called Night of the Jackals, and it sets up Ben Reilly's new status to become, once again, the Scarlet Spider in the month of May. Image will be mentioned a few more times this week. First off, brand new story arc for the Beauty after a few months hiatus, the 3rd one in the series. Revival, final issue. Tim Seeley has decided to call it quits. I'm not the only one who voiced this aloud earlier. Why not just end it at 50? Make it a nice round number. But it's obviously his prerogative, and or perhaps the company's. And the final one in Robert Kirkman's special 25-cent issue, Outcast, number 25. 2 more for the road. As you can see here, despite the numbering, Kurt Busiek has been consistent in writing this series since 1995, on and off, etc., etc. But although the current one has 41, it really is the 100th issue. Plus, every cover has Alex Ross on it. Too bad he can't do the interiors. And once more from Black Mask, the politically charged title, The Skeptics. Look at the cover alone. Enough said. Image month, image year, tribute variants, the 25th anniversary continues with homage covers. First off, Curse Words number 2, spotlighting, or spoofing rather, Invincible number 1. Descender number 19, its take on The Pit. The Few number 2, a take on East of West. Monstrous number 10, mimicking Spawn number 1. Outcast 25. I erroneously said Youngblood, but it's the other Rob Liefeld title, and if you have to rack your brain over it, Brigade. And lastly, we have Revival, that final issue. Someone aping Sarah Pizzini, the original Witchblade. And the winner for the pick of the week is another DC title, the brand new Justice League of America. I already mentioned the creative team. I just want to highlight why it's so freaking awesome. First off, a return of some B-list, C-list villains, Lord Havoc and the Extremists. They were featured in the Justice League title from the 80s to the 90s. Now, not so lame, perhaps. I just want to look here at Ivan Reis, his depiction of the Dark Knight. Those tiny white eyes really freak me out. Even as I'm mentioning it to you and not looking there, ugh, shudders. Gorgeous double page spread featuring this roster. You have a bunch of mismatches, but Batman's going to make them work. And the final page where he decides to take it all on himself. Again, kind of creepy, very intimidating, but you know he means business. Anyone with a fine eye for fine art will definitely appreciate these Joe Jusko variants. He's going to be at Toronto Comic Con next month. These are officially known as the corner box variants because they've been enlarged. Anyone who knows what I'm getting at will go back to the 60s and 70s. But here we have Marvel's #1 hero, in my opinion, their top seller. Everyone's friendly neighborhood, you know who. Black Panther, number 11, with T'Challa. Hulk, number 3, featuring the original Green Goliath, although the title itself has now Jennifer Walters. The Mighty Captain Marvel, number 2, Carol Danvers. Spider-Gwen, 17, the one-shot character who blew up in 2014. And lastly, the Mad Titan, as he's known as, the diabolical despot, Thanos. Pardon me, that's not the last one. The last one would be here, Uncanny Avengers number 20, with Cable in the lead for the last 16 issues or so. Get them all and have them signed at Toronto Comic Con. On to the collectibles / merch. How happy am I to see what I have in my hands? Gal Gadot, Wonder Woman, brand spanking new from BVS. I'm definitely going to be buying this. I have to. I can't call myself a fan otherwise. It's only $2, not so bad. But look at the exquisite artwork, the lifelike depiction of her face. Details all over. Other merch featured here, a bunch of pop figures, some new, some restocked. We have enough of Zoom from the Flash TV series. Yet another DC TV, Firestorm. Brand new, came out last September, Son of Zorn. We have him in his office gear, as well as his Barbarian costume. Sonic the Hedgehog. Some Dorbs that don't look too intimidating. Upcoming movie featuring MMPR. Super popular Logan. No coincidence, his movie's coming out in a few weeks. And this series here, Rock Candy has Marvel and DC. Once again, Carol Danvers, Jane Foster, Jennifer Walters. We gotta change her name now because she's Hulk. And can't go wrong with another fan fave. But I have to say, from the DC Superhero Girls, ta-da! Two literally big items this week. First one here, the Ultimate Voltron set featuring all 5 lions assembled, become the defender of the universe. And once more, no surprise, with the movie in 3 weeks' time, or a month's time, pardon me. The first of many, I'm sure. The Red Ranger gets to be spotlighted first. Either put it on or have it on display. Your choice. That's it for this week. Once again, much appreciated your viewership. Click below to subscribe. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram. And I'll talk to you again in 7 days.